People are different, whether it's the way they look, their background, experiences. But what if people focused on what makes them the same, what brings them together? What would that look like? It was the inspiration for a local photographer's Be Kind project.
Let's show the world a little bit of love and a little bit of light.
Through their eyes, it's simple. They're happy together.
A bright light, even when there's darkness. There's so much bad going on right now. There's so many people fighting and hating each other.
Photographer Liz Williams wanted to share her view of the world, the kids' view, through her lens.
I reached out to my following and I was like, who would want to join me in this? And there were like 500 comments.
She calls it the Be Kind project. Children from different backgrounds connected by what makes them all the same.
Some kids to get together and they're not judging each other based off of the way they look. They have pure hearts and they're just being so sweet and playing, or they're making each other laugh. We talked about boogers and toots because that's what makes kids laugh, and we had a really, really good time doing that. And you can clearly see it in the pictures. They were just loving each other, and I feel like that's how the world should be. As adults, our minds get just contaminated with bad things. We need to remember who we were at one point in our lives before we were contaminated. I feel like a lot of people need to see these pictures. This is just what the world needs right now.